The 90th Minnesota Legislature adjourned last month, but with many bills being vetoed by Governor Dayton, they don't have much to show for their work. Ben recently sat down with local legislators Nolan and Erin Koegel to get their perspectives on another session that broke down at the end.
It was 5 months of not getting a lot done.
Well, this session, pretty frustrating.
Much of the frustration was due to the tax bill that passed both chambers of the Republican-controlled legislature, but was vetoed by Democratic Governor Mark Dayton.
We worked very hard to come more than halfway. We cut taxes on the bottom two brackets very slightly. I mean, we want to do more, but there's only so much money to go around. But conformity was the important part of that. That was, some CPAs are saying it'll take twice the time to do taxes. Basically, they'd need to file the taxes twice without this bill.
The tax cuts in the House and Senate bills were minimal at best for people who are in those lower income tax brackets. And so, I think that was just one of those things too, where the cooperation, the leadership in the House and Senate doesn't see the governor as a partner in making laws, and so they see their job as just passing bills, and so that was the thing that was really unfortunate, because there was we have to get tax conformity done. My hope is that we get back in January and can get a tax conformity bill done quickly, so that that by the time tax season rolls around, it is easier for Minnesotans to file.
Thousands of bills are introduced each year at the state capitol. Very rarely does a standalone bill make it all the way through the process. More often, bills are lumped together into omnibus bills that can easily reach 1,000 pages or more.
There was a lot of really good stuff that we could have gotten done if it hadn't been tied up in the 1,000-page omnibus bill. For instance, the opioid crisis intervention programs and the elderly abuse prevention programs. Those were all good things that all of us agreed on.
I would really like to see some stuff done on the opioid epidemic. That was one of the things that got killed in the bill that Governor Dayton vetoed, and that was incredibly frustrating, because that is, more people die from opioid overdoses than fatal car accidents.
There's a lot of stuff that we really do agree on and that we work bipartisanly on, and for it to get caught up in the politics of it all is really disheartening.
One big item that the legislature did get done and the governor signed, despite his concerns, was a large bonding bill that will fund projects all across the state.
I was really encouraged today that the governor signed the bonding bill, even though we had some reservations about it, but that's a lot of really good projects and jobs.
Peg's Pit, which is just over in Andover, which is pretty close, that's a toxic waste dump that we had money to clean up, and then it turns out it's quite a bit worse than we thought it was. So there's money to fix that.
Anoka Ramsey has a project in there for their nursing school, some upgrades there.
Then there's the school safety money. That will go to everyone, and that's pretty important as well.
Both West and Koegel had bills and policy changes they fought for this session.
I love solar energy. I had a bill for solar energy that we got signed into law last year to help northern Minnesota get solar panels. But the way you do it is by relaxing the regulations so they can use broader solar arrays to fulfill the solar mandate.
Minnesota Care buy-in option is something that I am a huge advocate for. I think that would bring a lot of relief to individuals, small businesses, farmers, people who have, our networks keep narrowing, and Minnesota Care has a really wide statewide network of providers.
The big focus for both local legislators was transportation. MnDOT allocated money to a Highway 65 study that area legislators have been lobbying for. The study will outline a path forward to fix the congested roadway.
I've already started lobbying the chair of bonding for getting 65 in the bonding bill next year, because it'll take basically the rest of this year and most of next year for that study. An interchange at 109th would be the longest term fix, although you have to consider all the property or your eminent domaining, which is the worst thing that government can do, is forcibly take somebody's private property. And then hopefully another lane. That's another eminent domain issue, because with this project we're going to have to do a frontage road, and the frontage road just means more people's property, and that's really frustrating. But that's, everybody built up close to 65, and we're dealing with that now. Great 20 years ago, but not so much today. So an interchange and an extra lane would be the dream scenario.
With another fatal pedestrian accident recently on University Avenue, Representative Koegel worked with MnDOT to address safety concerns on that busy stretch of roadway.
One of the biggest things that I worked on was the University Avenue safety project. And so that really started before session. I called members of MnDOT and the cities that border the University Avenue corridor. And so we pulled together some folks from MnDOT, Fridley, Blaine, Coon Rapids, Spring Lake Park, and really just kind of sat down and looked at some of the facts and figures of what was happening on that section of road where a concentration of the accidents were happening, what were the causes of the accidents. And MnDOT was really alarmed at the amount of fatal and serious accidents and injuries that were happening on that stretch, all the way from 53rd down in Fridley up to the Highway 10. And so they've come together, they're doing a road safety audit.
The 65 study will go into next year. The university safety audit will take 17 weeks. When complete, the reports will be made public with recommended improvements. The next step in each case will be to secure funding, which will be up to the 91st Minnesota Legislature when they take office in January. For North Metro TV News, Ben Hale reporting.
Both West and Koegel are up for re-election this November. Koegel will face off against Anthony Wilder, who she defeated in 2016. West will be challenged by Amir Malik. North Metro TV's local decision coverage will begin this summer with candidate biographies and debates for primary elections. General election debates will take place this fall.